Okay, this is, or was, a Morbidelli U46. I don't like the pod and rail system, so I am converting it to a 4x8 table and rebuilding everything as I go. Right now I've just pretty much stripped everything off, started cleaning and sanding. I've got the steel down here for the second bed support. This bed support here is, well, it's pretty much just waiting for one more sheet, and then I can finish welding it all in, and then Bondo and putty and smooth everything out. It's not very fuzzy. I need two rails, one there and one on this guy. This outside rail right here used to be right here, but I drilled it, cut it, and torched it all off and mounted it over here, which was a nightmare in itself. And then the second rail here that held the pod and rail system, I just pretty much beat that off with a hammer because I didn't really need it. But now I got all these holes, and I don't know if I'm going to weld them filled and putty them and so I can paint this, or just leave it. It's under the table, but I'll know it's there, so I think I might just spot weld them, fill them, and then give them a coat of putty and prime up and paint it, because it's all going. I think I got a touch of color down here. Yeah, it's all going kind of a burgundy. That's just a spray coat just to see what the color really is like. But I'm gonna do the bed and the table in the burgundy, and the gantry and the head in the black. So what else we got around here? Sitting on this is the old vacuum pump. It's a 10 horse blower. It does really well. It should be good for a vacuum table. And right there is the head. You know, if I didn't have this thing, I wouldn't really be doing this build. It's got everything pretty much in there. I'm going to rebuild all this, but for now I just slid it off its rails. You know, I'm going to rebuild these. I already got a couple new 30mm slides that I can take those out and put them in there. And then I'm going to rebuild the whole aluminum, because I got all the spindles down there. Those all got to get rebuilt and cleaned up. I want to make sure everything is well greased and nothing's plugged in there. Down there we have that's the X-axis servo, I believe, and then we have the Y-axis servo there. The Z-axis, well, he is still on there, right there. So I'm not even going to take that apart yet until I'm all good and ready for this. I got enough pieces laying around right now. Here's the new Y-axis rails. The old one on the pod, or the rail and pod, were only good enough for 39 inches. And I wanted a full 50 inches of coverage for the whole head, and the head is pretty deep. It's got that, and then it has the motors attached to the front. So I picked up two 8-foot aluminum supported rails. They should do nicely. This is a, believe it or not, that's all the parts for the vacuum system, which I'm not going to be using any. Well, I might use a couple of those valves and that, but pretty much that was for the pod and rail system. Being just a plain table system, I don't need all this, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that. There's a lot of good switches and solenoids in there. I'll find use for them somewhere, I guess. If we move on down here, I have the two motors that I rebuilt. They're sitting here. I have them wired up to the VFD sitting on the saw. I just wanted to make sure that everything ran, you know, smoothly and just ran. And they run good. I'm going to before I mount them permanently, take them apart and rebuild them once more and just make sure that everything is right. What else we got around here? Oh, another pile of wire and the cable chains. There was more wire in this machine than air hoses. Like, I'm talking miles of air hoses. But I can reuse all that. Right here on the panel saw is the big, this is the big lead screw, or I guess not, it's a ball screw, but it's massive. And that guy has been all rebuilt. And I'm gonna, right now I just have it filled with grease for storage. But before I put it into the table, I'm going to clean it out again and redo it with lithium. And this thing's 13 feet long, so I want to keep it in good shape. And then we have these are double 40mm trucks, linear rails that I got to replace. I'm running 2 per side. So they are going to get used for just the construction, and once I'm ready I'm going to take them and clean them out, but good, because I can't seem to be keeping them too clean while I'm test fitting everything. So I'm going to have to do some cleaning on them. We walk over here. Back here I have the new Y-axis ball screw. The Y-axis was only good for 39 inches too because of the pod and system, so I went and bought a new 8-foot ball and screw, and hopefully I can get that mounted up. And then we got the spare parts. This is all the solenoids for the spindle, took them all off. Another motor. It's not a variable speed motor. It's just a direct 3000 RPM with a scoring saw. But I'm going to take that off. I'm not going to use a scoring saw. I don't really think I'll need it. And I'm just going to mount a straight spindle that I can just put larger bits in. Nothing fancy. Back here, this is the ball screw. This is the drive system for the Z-axis, or sorry, X-axis. This is what attaches to the table, and it's all been taken apart and cleaned up. I'm going to take it apart once again and just paint this up before I put it all back together. What is it right here? All the limit switches, home switches off the machine. There's no shortage of them. This is the emergency stop switch that goes onto this. This is for that. What else we got here? These are the two 40mm 13-foot linear rails. Those guys there, they're all cleaned up. Ready to wait. Once the base is painted, those will get permanently mounted. But for now, I'm just gonna store them somewhere safe. And this is the old, I guess, Y-axis. Take that table that came off the pod and system style. Both rails at back, cantilevering over to the pod. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unbolt it right there in the middle, and I'm going to cut it in the middle here and extend it 3 feet with the 4x8 tubing. These will come off, those two rails on there now, they're too short. And then I will mount my 8-foots onto there with 4 pillars on the table. So it'll extend about another 3 feet out, and there'll be a pillar here and a pillar here and a table in between. And I ordered the ball screw that all my original fittings and motor mounts and everything will work the same. So it's just pretty much a direct swap. And I already have my cable chases and everything all in there, and so it won't be that bad. That'll be a consuming little project, but won't be too huge. And other than that, and that's pretty much the state she's at now. I'm gonna finish sanding, and I gotta finish welding up this table support. All the pieces are cut, and weld up that table support. Fill these holes. I'm going to cut off this. That used to be where I guess the old vacuum system went. I'm going to put the vacuum in the equipment room, so I don't need the noise of that, and just run pipe. But that'll get cut off and then sanded, so I can do that. I got some supports to weld on to here and here, and then Bondo everything, smooth everything out, make it look like a factory finish. I found that this machine has quite a bit of Bondo underneath the paint. I don't know if it's Bondo or really thick primer, but they tended to smooth the Morbidellis out quite nice. So I'm going to return it to that, and then all in here was all the vacuum and that. I don't need anything in here now. I might put a few things, but I'll see over time. And yeah, so next time I show you it'll probably be in the painting process. Thank you very much. Bye.